Well, friends, for Rudy Giuliani, the chickens have finally come home to roost. The two Georgia state election workers that he defamed, Shaye and Ruby Freeman, those two women whose lives Rudy Giuliani endangered, courtesy of a brand new court ruling, they get to take his stuff, his property, his money, his expensive cars, his fancy watch collection. They get to seize his stuff for the wrong he has done. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. Well, friends, a judge just ordered that Georgia state election workers Shaye and Ruby Freeman can seize and sell Rudy Giuliani's property to begin collecting on the $146 million defamation judgment a jury entered against him. Hello, accountability. Let's start with the new reporting. This from The Hill. Headline, Judge orders Giuliani to hand over assets to Georgia election workers. And that article begins, Rudy Giuliani must turn over much of his property, his apartment in New York, the city that made him mayor, and other prized possessions to two Georgia election workers who have sought for months to collect their massive defamation judgment, a federal judge ruled Tuesday. The order appoints Ruby Freeman and Shaye, the election workers, as receivers of Giuliani's New York apartment, Mercedes-Benz, luxury watches, and some of his cash, among other items. U.S. District Judge Louis Lyman ordered Giuliani to hand over his assets within 7 days and gave the mother-daughter duo authority to immediately put those items up for sale. They will also be free to pursue Giuliani's claim that former President Trump owes him legal fees for work following the 2020 election. I don't know, that is just sort of just desserts, isn't it? Shaye and Ruby Freeman will allowed to pursue the claim that Rudy Giuliani has against Donald Trump for, I believe, a couple of $1 million that Donald Trump stiffed Rudy Giuliani. Only the best people. That's all my editorial edition. The article continues. Rudy is also fighting to retain his Palm Beach, Florida condo by declaring it his homestead. The judge said Giuliani could remain in control for now. A jury in 2023 found Giuliani defamed Freeman and Moss by baselessly claiming they engaged in election fraud and ordered him to pay $146 million. Giuliani froze the judgment and other pending lawsuits against him by filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, but a judge threw him out of bankruptcy for a lack of transparency, allowing the election workers to collect on the judgment. Wait a minute. You mean Rudy Giuliani, the same Rudy Giuliani who filed dozens of baseless, fraudulent lawsuits trying to help Donald Trump steal the 2020 presidential election, that Rudy Giuliani wasn't being straight with the bankruptcy court? The Rudy Giuliani who has been disbarred in both New York and Washington, D.C. for bringing those fraudulent suits challenging the 2020 election results? You mean that Rudy Giuliani wasn't being honest and candid and transparent with the bankruptcy court? Again, my editorial edition. Beyond his New York apartment, Giuliani must also turn over his 1980 Mercedes-Benz SL 500, television, various furniture, signed photos of famed Yankees Reggie Jackson and Joe DiMaggio 26 watches and non-exempt cash in his checking accounts. The judge, however, deferred a decision on whether Giuliani must turn over 3 Yankees World Series rings. Giuliani's son, Andrew, has intervened in the legal battle to claim they were gifted to him in 2018, contending the election workers aren't entitled to them. A hearing is set for October 28 to discuss those matters, and the judge has also scheduled a January 16, 2025 bench trial for whether Giuliani can hold on to his Palm Beach condo as his homestead. Friends, it's been a long road for Shaye Moss and Ruby Freeman, and I, for one, am very happy they will begin to collect on that money judgment that a jury entered against Rudy Giuliani. Remember, not only did he defame those 2 women, but he endangered their lives. Recall, they had to flee their home because of the threats that came pouring in after Rudy began lying about them, claiming they were changing votes or stuffing ballot boxes in Georgia. Friends, recall that when Shaye and Ruby were serving as election workers in 2020, there were videos of everything that was transpiring in that area where ballots were being processed. And on one occasion, you saw the mother and the daughter pass something between them, something very small. You couldn't really see what it was, but one handed something to another. And we know, courtesy of sworn testimony, that that something was a ginger mint. But what did Rudy Giuliani say? What lie did he choose to tell based on that video? He said, they were passing a USB drive that was designed to change votes from, Trump to Biden. And look at them, Rudy Giuliani said, look at them. Don't they look like drug dealers passing vials of cocaine back and forth? Just look at them. Friends, why do you think Rudy Giuliani chose to characterize them as looking like drug dealers? Just look at them. I'll let you answer that question for yourself. Let's finish with this, friends. I hope what has happened to Rudy Giuliani will serve as both specific deterrence and general deterrence, 2 fancy terms we use in the law. What do they mean? Well, when these kind of judgments are handed down by juries, these massive money judgments, it is to deter people from engaging in the same or similar conduct that Rudy Giuliani engaged in. So specific deterrence means specifically deterring the wrongdoer against whom the money judgment was entered, Rudy Giuliani. Maybe he will choose to stop lying about people in service to his orange deity, Donald Trump. Specific deterrence. But let's hope it also serves as general deterrence. What does that mean? Well, it means that others who hear about or who learn about what happened to Rudy Giuliani when he chose to defame election workers, those people will reflect upon whether they want to go the way of Rudy Giuliani. They want to serve a criminal president who just lost an election. They want to defame the people who choose to do the hard work of being election workers. Just honestly trying to process ballots, just trying to serve their community and their country. Others who hear about what happened to Rudy Giuliani when he chose to defame, savage, and endanger the lives of those election workers, maybe they will say to themselves, gee, I don't want my stuff seized. I don't want my home, my car, my expensive watch collection, my sports memorabilia, or my money seized to satisfy a judgment that might be entered against me if I lie in service to Donald Trump or anybody else. That is the principle of general deterrence. Hopefully, other attorneys will not sign up to do what Rudy Giuliani did, either file fraudulent lawsuits for which he has been disbarred in 2 jurisdictions, or lie about election workers trying to fraudulently install Donald Trump into the presidency for a second term after he lost the election to Joe Biden. Let's hope others that hear about Rudy Giuliani's fate and how the chickens have now come home to roost choose not to go down that same path. Although I fear Donald Trump is in the process of putting together a new crop, a new batch of nefarious lawyers who may be similarly drunk on the proximity to power and will be willing to do Donald Trump's dirty bidding, bringing bogus, nefarious, fraudulent lawsuits once again to try to undo his opponent's election win. But friends, let's hope those other lawyers who see what happened to Rudy Giuliani resist Donald Trump's attempts to enlist them into his corrupt corps of attorneys. Heck, maybe they will even come to the conclusion that justice matters. We'll see. Friends, as always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.